Oh god. What? No melody? What are you talking about? So, it's been 3 years now that I've been doing a set with a certain setup, and I thought it was time to just make a new live set. So let's do a video on what I've learned so far and show you in the process of my mind and where I'm taking it now that I'm going to do a new live set. And that's today's video. Let's go do it right now. Hey, I'm Analog Kitchen and thank you for checking out yet another video. If this is your first time here, don't hesitate to click subscribe, hit that bell. You'll be notified whenever I upload a new video, which is weekly on Friday nights, and you'll be kept in the loop. You won't miss out on anything. And stay till the end of this video. I'll tell you all about the new patrons. This week I'll tell you about the Discord connection with Patreon. I'll tell you about the stuff that I'm doing and where I'm taking stuff at the minute. Patreon is amazing, and this Sunday, if you're following this video, Trovarsi and myself are doing a Patreon mashup, which means that if you've got questions, collect them all, and we'll be going live and talking to your questions. So that's this Sunday. Trovarsi and Analog Kitchen live. Now, ADE was a landmark gig for me, playing at Pleinvrees. Much of the stuff I've been doing has been leading up to that. So the philosophy that I had when I bought the equipment that I had in my fly case, it pretty much is still cool, but I have now got more information. So I've seen Ento, I've seen Botsin, I've seen Ame, I've seen Konstantin Sibol. I've seen so many artists that have inspired me, but I've also seen what the market is all about and where it's taking the music. I want to utilize my equipment more. There's a few things that I do that most of them don't, which is showing up without a laptop, and I had still to find what the advantage was of not playing with a laptop. Now, obviously, I heard Bobeat say on an older video, you know, when you play synthesizers live, there's a few things that you have against you. For one, the cost. The cost factor is obviously going to be a difficult one because it's easier to just show up with a laptop. It's much cheaper and everything's on board. If you don't want to do that and be stubborn like myself, then there's another disadvantage. You might see it as a disadvantage. You are not as flexible as you are when you utilize a computer or a DAW where everything is at your beckoning hand. There is reverb, there is compression, there is sound design, there are synthesizers, there is audio recording. So all these things you need to take into consideration when you are buying a synthesizer. It's pretty much going to be that one sound. You need reverb, you need to buy an effect pedal. You want another sound? If you don't have a polyphonic synthesizer, or you want to utilize, or it's not a multi-timbral, it means that you've got this one sound, so you need to buy another synthesizer. So obviously there are a few things that still work against you. Then again, I love the puzzle, and I think that with the machines that I have right now, those machines that I'm really going to all the time, I can do a set that might be as surprising, if not more tactile and hands-on in terms of utilizing all those disadvantages, and making them work in my favor. I think I can do it. Actually, I'm doing it, and the sound quality and the rudimentary aspect of the changing of patterns, whatever, it's a thing that works on a dance floor. I've seen it happen, but after my shows and what I have learned was, okay, so what's the next step then? Basically, you know, how are you going to just like close the gap to what the market is demanding, and how are you still going to be, how shall I put it? And how am I going to keep my own identity? So the Analog Kitchen flavor is something I love this project to death. Obviously, I really get into the vibe. Being in the music industry for quite some time, there's a lot of stuff that comes together. The music making, the mixing on the fly, the mastering on the fly, the arrangement, the sound design. There's so many things that I can do on the fly, which were different things in my other world. So yeah, there's an advantage. Now taking it to the stage and making it sound like I'm the CIA, which means I'm working all that stuff and you don't even know that I'm doing it, that is going to be the puzzle for the new live set. If you care to join me, I will take you on that journey and show you on what I have. So at the moment, it's very slimmed down. So yeah, there's no TB03, there's no Model D, there's no Tetra, there's even no multi-plug. Okay, so this is just a work in progress, so you have to understand. I guess so. Here's a few of you go like, are you crazy? So yeah, it will come back in a different fashion, but first I'm crippling myself and trying to find ways to just like overcome the puzzle that I've deliberately thrown myself into, and let's make it work, shall we? So welcome to my small and humble setup. So what I have got is like, I've got the Moog mug over there, which is the Moog mug, I should say. This cable which is in the way. Okay, so everything is out of the box because there's a new fly case coming. Now, the way I'm going to set it up is that all the inputs are going to be routed to all the outputs. So pretty much there is going to be a patch bay where I can just like utilize all the individual sounds out of my fly case towards a mixer or a studio environment. But since it's going to be a normal patch bay, everything will be connected. So look up normal patch bays. It's a cool thing to do. So the bottom of the patch bay now is pretty much going to be utilized in a way that if you stick like the outputs over on one side and the inputs of something, and it will be connected, but the top of the patch bay will break up that connection so you can send your stuff elsewhere or route stuff in a different kind of way. What I have today is the Akai MPC Live, the Octa track. Now both of them are joined at the hip, as you know. At the minute though, my track is built up of I've got two tracks that I'm going to do. Now what I have learned so far in the 2 years that I've been, 3 years actually, that I've been performing and going just doing my stuff, is that there's a lot of stuff that I can do, there's a lot of possibilities, but there were a lot of things that I wasn't sure about if that was the direction that I wanted to take my sound into. Now what I have got today is I'm just going to do a jam and I'll explain to you what I'm doing as we migrate. Now the way I have connected it today, the Akai's output is going into the Octa track on input 8B, and then the subsequent is going into one input, and then the Moog Minitar is going into another input. So that means that all the inputs on the Electron are filled up at the moment. There's no patch bay to break stuff up. Why have I done that? Because the Octa track has been designed even to act as a summing mixer for their other equipment, so namely the analog rhythm and the analog keys, which will be stuck into the Octa track, and then it will get summed in here. So the inputs are pretty amazing. And track 8 on the Octa track can now serve as a master, which means that if I'm utilizing different effects to that master, set, track, whatever I'm doing, the whole of the track now gets influenced by what is happening over here. Why is that important? I've seen that in my previous live set, if I wanted to do beat jittering or filters and reverbs over the complete master, it would have meant I needed to break up the line that was going to the mixer and then break up the mixer signal to the room, and I don't want to do that. So pretty much it needed to be done on board on the setup itself. So that's what I've utilized right now. So let's not talk and let's get into what I have. I will just play the jam and I'll tell you what I'm doing. It's a melodic techno jam. Let's start in a fashion. Now on the Octa track, obviously, those scenes that you have, I'm doing scene B because scene A at the moment is not working, which means that the crossfader is doing all the stuff over on the right side of the Octa track, which means when I press and hold it, you see 4 different slots, that 4 lights. You see 3 green lights and 1 red light, and the red light means that that's the active scene at the minute, which is only cut off, as you can hear. Now, moving over, the launch control itself is mapped to the Akai MPC Live. I've got a few things that are mapped out on the Akai MPC Live. For instance, the kick is over here. Let's go in. This is the first pattern. So as you know, my patterns will build up gradually, which means that this is the first track. This is how I'm going to start my song. Now, I will go over to the first of my scenes on the Octa track. As you can see, as soon as I'm hitting it, you see that there's a inverted kind of mark going around the bass and the width, which means that that's the way I've automated it. So if I was to turn the knobs, it will remember it in its memory. So it means that this is only going to be active as soon as I open stuff up. So as you can hear, let's open it up. One, two, three, four, in case you lost count. This one is on mute, so there's nothing playing, and we go like this. Now what I've also done is a small arpeggio which is playing over here, which is a poly 6 arpeggio. This is a poly 6 arp that my good mate Wijnand has sent me as a single waveform. I've utilized the synthesizer abilities of the Akai MPC, but for the moment what I've done, if you go in menu, you go to program edit, you can see I have got some level stuff going on with the envelopes over here. You can see the envelope is also being mapped. So I mapped it to here. I've made it short, which means that if the envelope is not utilized, but the filters that I have on the program going in, that's filters here. So if you go in here, you'll see that my cutoff frequency is moving as also, and the resonance is not so far up because I turned it down. Listen what I've done. If I open up the resonance, listen to the self-oscillating filter. Which is nice. So now I get to play around. Which works well if you open this up. So that's a trick, but I don't want to go too far, so I'll tone it down. Resonance is going to be around 13.4. Go back in, hit the beat. So all the drums are coming from the Akai, which is cool because now if you just go out, you'll go to your So now I've got my my small chaos pad which is embedded in the Akai, which I hardly use but want to use for the beaches. Go. Now a thing I didn't utilize yet, which I would love, I don't think it's on the standalone version. It would be nice if I could map the next and previous sequences so that if I'm on this page where I utilize my song, it would be a cool thing to now, you know, go in a different direction so I can have my hands free to do other stuff. Okay, I'm going to migrate to the next pattern. More drums and more music. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, dramatize a little bit as we go. Now there's a lot of stuff happening. So what I've done in what I didn't do on my first live set is I've got different sounds playing. I've got one drum program. Let's go over to the drum program. So split up in two things because this drum program is actually a let's solo it. As you can hear, it's just a disco loop as I did in a previous video, but I've stuck on the first of my slice of drum loops. So it's sliced up so that if I'm changing the tempo, this will not be affected by the time stretching, which on the Akai MPC Live is horrible. So it would mean that normally it's this, but you can hear that in 1970s music a kick drum didn't contain a lot of low end. So what I've done is I've stuck within, let's go over there, we'll go to the program edit, And then we'll go to the master, we'll go to the samples. Here you can see that on, say for instance, pad A8, which is that pad, which is the hi-hat. You can see it switch here, A5, and let's go to A1. And all of a sudden now you see there's an extra sound there, and that is a 808 kick drum that I have utilized to play together with this kick. You can see it appear here. So, okay, back to the music. The multi-clock is going to be the central clock in the end, because I do need something to the outside world. For now, just set up this skeleton kind of setup so that I can make the most of this, and whatever I need to add needs to really help me out with where I'm going. Alright, so this is the second panel. Let's take it out of solo. Again, something that you can also map to the Launch Control XL. The mapping is not done yet, but something that we could map. And yeah, let's take it out. I don't like the touchscreen sometimes. See if we can go in a little bit. So I'm waiting to the end of the bar. 7, 2, 3, and 8, 2, 3 out. And now I have that sound that you're hearing. That's the sound coming from the Octa actually. The top of the sound there. It's the hype synth. I have mapped it to another Launch Control XL. Also, not so happy with the mapping capabilities of the Octa, because sometimes I load up my arrangement and then it's lost some certain mapping. So Octa, if you're listening, fix this stuff on an update, please, because you know you need to be. I don't want to be insecure going to stage and knowing that it doesn't work. So there's a lot of capabilities, but at the same time not a lot of consistency. But I guess that's coming in the future. Now, the first breakdown is going to be drums gone and introducing the subsequent 37. Let's see what is happening if we're going to do that right now. So first, I'll just take the kick out. Going for a little bit of drama with my reverb. I've not renamed it well because I should do that. Here we go. 2, 3, and it's coming. Nice. Okay, now we're introducing it like so. The delay that you're hearing is coming from the Octa track, so which is nice. I mean, you can obviously go for a big sky or whatever, but I've opted to go like stick this one in here, map your effect in a way that you can really handle everything on one machine. Going for a little bit of drama. Is that possible? Let's see if we can do that. Go out of here. Go to the next drum page, because what I've done, I've got a snare drum. Go for a drum roll. Next sequence, here, using the plus sign for the 1, 2, 3, go. Take it out, 1, 2. Now there's a Jupiter 8 sound that I have, which is also playing. So what I've done is, on the Jupiter page, which is here, that's also a single waveform that I got from Lion. There's a Jupiter playing, but if you go into the page, you can see that, see where I have it? Here, I'm sending the Jupiter sound also to the subsequent sound. So now, I've got a layered synth playing already, which means that again, and this one is also mapped to a filter, as you can hear. Here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1, 2. Now this is a different pattern because I want to break up the track a little bit with pads. Pads also coming from a different synthesizer. So take out kick. Go to the next sequence page. Nice. Dip, 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 dip. You can really hear another arpeggios being introduced. But listen to the versatility of this sound. It cuts through the mix. Everything's sitting in a nice spot. You can really introduce a little bit of reverb again. Nice atmosphere. And also there's reverb on here, but there's also a cutoff. So on the master, which is here, the first effect is filter with the bass on 86, which means when I open the filter, the low end is going to be taken out, so I can easily open my kick. So I don't have to work, oh shit, I need to mute the kick or whatever. No, I'm just leaving it there. So bam, 2, 3, and. In this way, every pattern that you're doing can now be an impact pattern, you know? I am going to map the snare drum also on here, so that if I want to use a drum roll, I can just like press a button and roll a hat on over here. For now, I need to get out of this page. I need to still go to my extra drum page, which is the second one. Back to a different sequence. Here we go. This is again, I've added slices of a different sound. Let's head over there. So I've got pads here. This are different pads that I had played from one sequence that was playing already. Pretty much it was this. Let's stop it quick fast. Remember I had like a sequence that played, so a big synth line. Nice, but very musical. So what I want is something to play with this. I am deliberately limiting myself to stick within a certain routine because knowing a lot of music and knowing a lot of music theory does not automatically mean that the tracks that you're making are going to be cool on a dance floor. Simplicity is key most of the time, which is why I took a lot of gear out and see if I could like simplify my workflow a little bit, add stuff to it that really makes a difference. So the pads are playing this. You can see that so it was puzzling a little bit, and then obviously I filtered this out. Now there's resonance. This is the filter coming from the Octa, I can show you, which is over here. Going in, this is the filter. As you can see, the cutoff frequency 8.28 kilohertz. Now it goes to 20 hertz, and now it goes. I think that the sweet spot is over here, a little bit. Resonance. You should be careful with this because this is where you really shoot razor blades into people's ear. And obviously to just not have it be too static, I went in and also mapped the feedback on the delay. Listen. Nice one. And start again. So obviously there's a lot of freedom that you have now, and that freedom I needed to do other things because I thought like, oh, I've only got two hands. Can I make sure that this is happening? But at the same time, I don't want to be just programming and pressing buttons. So obviously, getting out of there, you can do a lot of stuff. Okay, take it out of solo, here. And I've got a mute buttons also for it because I think it's very important to stick certain things on there in a mute, because if I don't need it, mute. So now you can make another kind of vibe out of the same track. Now I think it's time to move on. Let's see, where are we? Next sequence. Okay, go to transitioning period sequence. That's pads in the background, nice. Those are Selena pads. Selena pads are coming from the new synths that are being embedded in the Octa MPC Live on the latest update. Take out a kick, do the same trick again. So now it's adding something. What I've done with the reverb though, let's talk about that for a second. The reverb, I have taken out a bit of the high end as well and a bit of the low end, because it gets very bright if you open it up, and I don't want to be making a drop with a lot of high end content, because that tends to just like be very, very present in the room when you're performing, and then once the drop hits, it doesn't really do that much. So listen, 1, 2, 3, out there. Nice one. Okay, that's the other arpeggio playing in the background. Now I've done a different bass line on here, of which I think it needs to add something to it. So what I love about the subsequent is we're gonna take out all of the filter, which is on 20 hertz here, and then you don't hear anything, it plays. And then around maybe 90 hertz. Let's go in. Let's go in. Go in. Select everything. Transpose it. I think that we're not here, but we're somewhere else. This is what I still need to figure out. Because sometimes, for some reason, there's also a bug in the Octa. I need to just constantly switch and change. There you go. Ridiculous. And then you'll see when I start it up, now it's going to be too high again. So sometimes the tuning and the pitching, that's a little work that I can still do on the sequencing and on the software. So this is what they call ostinato, which means it's the similar sort of like vibe where you just lay your track in some sort of a holding pattern and contemplate your next move, which obviously is going to be a transitioning pattern into the next track. Last pattern, let's see what's happening. 1, 2, 3. Another bass line playing. Now instead of just like switching to the next track, I think the thing I've learned also from performing is that I've got so much room to do different vibes. Basically, I can just go in like this, or switch even to this. If I don't need the reverb, I can still take everything out, set myself up. See, it's almost gone. Build a little bit of tension. Nice one. Alright. Come back. Switch to the next pattern. And just wait. 2, 3, and. Now what I've done is I've already switched to the next track. But the drums have switched, but not so much the ingredients. I'm going to take them out gradually and add stuff to it gradually as well. So on my next sequence, Let's see what's happening. I think there's another bass line that's going to play. This is the sound that I've made on the subsequent. I will do sound design videos in the future on it. Let's check what's happening here. Oh, nice. See? Toning everything down. Now we need a little bit of reverb again. Building a vibe. Sometimes you don't have to go all the way overboard with the reverb going all the way to the side. I will map different effects also to the master. Let's see what the next sequence page is all about. Oh my god. Ah, and there we go. 1, 2, 3. Paraphonic mode. So that means that when you put your subsequent in duo mode, you can play the two oscillators separately from each other, which means I've got a bass line coming here. As you can hear. Go back to my drum roll, which is here. Kick back and do it again. Ah, loving this. Go back down. And by this time, everybody will be like, oh, there's the tension that builds. People will actually follow what you're doing, and that's the way I'm going to set up my new set, guys. I think I'm onto something here. I really enjoy the fact that it's giving me goosebumps. And good mate of mine, Axwell of the Swedish House Mafia, already said, you know what? If it's giving you goosebumps, then if you get goosebumps in the studio, it's a good thing. It means you're onto something which your mind cannot already fathom, so it's something there. So hopefully it's doing the same thing with you. It's cool. I can see a lot of people reaching out to me at the moment, saying like, dude, get your ass over here and perform, which is cool, which is like, yeah. So yeah, it's a COVID thing, which is still annoying, you know what I mean? But at the same time, you know, it's giving me like a positioning kind of a place where I can set myself up. Piotr, welcome. It's my new patron. Thank you for supporting. After this video, there is a video after party, which is in Discord. Discord's connected to Patreon. So if you follow me on Patreon, you support me, then it gives you access to my Discord. And on the Discord, there's a lot of people talking about a lot of different things, which is cool. So come and hang out. Don't be a stranger. If you got more questions than answers, that's not a good thing. Head out there. Also, you can make music with me. The higher tier patrons, I will make music with you. I will do a collaboration. I'm actually setting something up already with one of the patrons, which is really cool. So yeah, he sent over some really dope sounds, which he made with a modular, and which were so otherworldly. I would never come up with those sounds, which is a cool thing. So that's in the works. The tiers down are doing remixing, and it's a one-man army right at the moment, yeah? So be patient, it will come, it's coming. We're actually setting stuff up, so there's a lot of stuff happening at the minute. So bear with me, please. All right, so links to the equipment is noted in the file below. Also, the music is on Discord. Not this though, because this is a new album, this is a new live set, so I'm not throwing it out into the world as of yet. You just have to hang it out with my YouTube videos for now. Okay, now next week there's going to be a new video, probably on the same thing. If you got a question or you want to know something connectivity wise or anything, just or a suggestion, you know, I'm not the be all and end all as well. So if there's anything you would like to tell me, don't be a stranger. Leave a comment in the section below, or just reach out or follow it on Patreon. And last thing, there's also YouTube membership, so you can be a member on this channel as well, if that is something you're into. Now, hit that subscribe button if you didn't do so already. I'll catch you next week on another video. Stay cool, stay safe, and I'll see you. Peace.